All right. Here we are. I see Danny's already here. I saw Cynthia. Yes, hello, Cynthia. Johnny's here. Hello. Got other people lurking. Some people coming in and out. Thank you, Danny, for being the tapper in chief and rocking and rolling. I appreciate that. Oh, all right. Let's see. I think, nope, got one more thing to do. Here we All right, so let me start off with the basics, even though I know you two already know, but what the hell? I got to have some structure, right? So, welcome to Yoddah Live. Today is Thursday, August 21st, 2025. I know because the internet tells me so. I am Yoddah, the aforementioned, spelled Yoddah, because film studios are litigious. And Disney's lawyers mean business. So I don't want to risk it. I spell it different, even though I have an excellent defense if I were ever sued. Oh, Clecty, how you doing? I saw that you had returned to the platform and glad to see you on my live. That's fantastic. Um, so, some trivia about Star Wars. Um, Lucas, George Lucas, for the uninitiated, did not invent the word Yoda. In fact, it's a Sanskrit word. It's actually a name that means either warrior or king, something like that. One of those two. But warrior for sure. And Sweet C types out which of course is a verbal thing, and then ak, because doesn't know that okay is supposed to be capitalized. That's weird. Whenever someone types you know they're a douchebag because there's no reason to type out something that's a verbal placeholder for your next thought. So, these people reveal themselves very quickly. Oh, what a fucking douchey thing to do. Anyway, so as you can all see on this particular platform, the word contempt is over my head, and that is one of three things that I'd like to discuss tonight. I don't know what order to go in. I'll decide that on the fly. We have over 1,100 likes. That's good. Haven't seen 100,000 likes in a while, but anything's possible on any given day. Danny, thank you for knocking out my live goal. Appreciate that. Let me set a new one on account of I'm supposed to. And someone will always come in and remind me if for some reason I forget, which I think is a wonderful thing. So let's set up another one. Let's go with, what did I just do? Those were roses. I like these. Let's do chili peppers. I like them chili peppers. Go on now, get some chili peppers. Gonna make some Cajun food. Ha! -1 love goal. Cool. All right, so, let's see. Let me see the three. I wrote down three things in no particular order. Whoops. Come on. There we go. Live. Okay. So since we were talking about Gavin Newsom last night, it was a perfect coincidence that today, when I opened up another app for a different platform, I saw a poll that was taken. Very unscientific, of course. Um, but I found it interesting. 56,000 people responded, and the question was, would you support Gavin Newsom as the Democratic nominee for president? 74% of the 56,000 people that responded said yes. 12% said no, I think he's a phony, which is hilarious considering the complete idiot in office right now. And 15% said no, an establishment Democrat is an automatic loss. And I guess their memories don't go back as far as 2020 when a very establishment Democrat won. So there's always going to be some dum-dums in the crowd. Hello, Pat Ray. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Louisa. Compy 3. Diane Fisher. Hello, hello, hello. I think I said hello to Johnny earlier. Hello, folks. Good of you to stop by. So that was one note that I had. The other thing I didn't note down, but I remember that I did want to talk about it because I made a post about it that I posted like a couple hours ago or something. And it was the idea that the National Guard is an important tool for fighting crime in cities. Because the logic of that does not present itself. And I don't think anybody can make a smart argument for that, because if that were the case, if it was all about restoring order, despite the fact that we know crime statistics in DC tell us very clearly that DC is at a 30-year low, and this year was 20-something% lower than last year. So kind of hilarious, right? Again, please remember to tap the screens. We got to get those numbers up so that the platform will recognize us and share it out to other people. And if you haven't done so already, the Daily Heart Me, like Danny, the leading by example, did the Daily Heart Me. So stop tapping for a second and tap on the Daily Heart Me. And if you're not following me, I just realized this the other day. If you're not following me, that's okay. But you can still send a Heart Me by going to the gifts and looking for a Heart Me. Don't look for any other hearts. There's different types of hearts. Look specifically for the one labeled Heart Me. 2 words, Heart Me, right? And again, that just tickles the nads of the algorithm, which is always good for a live show. So, yeah, so here's the thing. If the National Guard were vital to fighting crime in cities, which of course they're not, but if they were, why wouldn't you have already deployed them to the 8 red states that are in the top 10 for worst crime? That would make sense, wouldn't it? If that was your goal, you're going to pretend that DC is under siege, but you're going to ignore the cities that have the highest crime rates, or states. States, cities, both, because red states just don't do well in these blue. That's, I love this. I love the propaganda parrots that come in and try to make this claim, which is completely false and easily debunked. Blue cities and red states, you mean? No, that's not what I mean, because that's not the fact, you lunkhead, you complete donut, you propaganda parrot. Oh my God. Why don't you know how to read? All you have to do is look this up and you wouldn't make yourself look like a jackass. Just read. Just read. Yes, Swims, I agree. Political theater, easy for me to say. Political theater and propaganda for maggots. Yeah. Like this guy, Scuba Steve, who apparently named himself after a plastic toy in an Adam Sandler film called Big Daddy. He thought he was cute and clever, like me, naming myself Yoda. So, blue cities and red states. He's claiming that the highest crime rates in America are blue cities and red states. And Scuba Steve, these are things that you can look up so that you don't make an idiot of yourself. Hello, Eddie. Let's see, got a few people in here. 15. Okay, with 15 people in here, again, if you're not following me, go to the lower right-hand corner and click GIFs and send me a heart me. That helps the algorithm. And after that, go back to tapping like a madman. Oh, listen to Steve. I know firsthand. By the way, firsthand is one word. You're completely exposing yourself as a donut hole. Okay? Your experience is not what statistics are made of. Why don't you know that? And now he's going to cherry pick. What the hell is STL? But you're going to cherry pick states. I get it. This is what you propaganda parrots do. You ignore the haystack and look for one straw. What city is called St. Louis Ass? I didn't know that there was a St. Louis Ass. Yeah, this is what they're going to do. They're going to cherry pick and ignore the majority of the data in a desperate attempt to be right about something that they're just wrong about. This is how MAGA hats conduct themselves. Hello, Island Boy. I see you have arrived. Excellent. So, um, so we covered the National Guard in cities. We covered Gavin Newsom, straw poll, very unofficial, very, just social media straw poll. That shows 74% of the respondents. My God, I am tongue-tied this evening. 74% of the respondents out of 56,000 said that they would vote for Gavin Newsom because they feel he is fighting for us. So now I want to get into the main point that I want to make, and then I'll open it up for the panel. So I want to tell a story to illustrate the word above my head. But first, I think it would be instructive to define the word. And as always, I only want Oxford languages because I'm not satisfied with any other dictionary. And I think, hey, let's go to the source, right? So the definition of contempt: the feeling that a person or a thing is beneath consideration, worthless, or deserving scorn. Of course, it has another meaning with regard to court, but that's not the meaning that I'm focused on. And by the way, I implore all of you, especially if English is your first language, to please learn the difference between regard and regards. Most of you use them incorrectly. Regard is a reference. Regards is a greeting, basically. Give my regards to Broadway. That's correct, Eddie. They are not interchangeable at all, and people just use them wrong all the time. But there's a long list of that. I wouldn't even start to delve into that. But anyway, here's my story, and thank you for the 2,500 likes. I hope that the pace increases so that we can get some good numbers in there. Thank you all for uh, doing the heart me's and all that good stuff. All right. All right. So, when I was about 15, my next door neighbor was banging the preacher's daughter in one of the preachers in our very small town. It might have been around 15, 16, something like that. I don't think we were any older than that. And I don't remember all of the details because, I used to imbibe a lot and some of my memories are fuzzy, but I do remember the crux of the story and how it relates to, you know, what I'm going to talk about and why the word contempt is over my head. So, at a certain point, somehow, my friend and I were outside the preacher's house. I assume my friend was trying to talk to his daughter, something like that. Again, I don't remember those details, but I do remember that the preacher came out and confronted my friend. Of course, we're teenagers and this is a grown man. But I was also fearless at that point, and some of that was fueled by the fact that I had already spent 3 years in martial arts and knew that I could scrap if I needed to. Now, what I did, men will recognize immediately as raw contempt. Because while he was talking to my friend, I stepped in between them and I turned my back to the preacher and I said something to my friend like, let's get out of here, we're wasting our time. Now, again, to a man, that is an outrageous thing to do to another man because I was showing that man complete contempt. What I was telling that man by turning my back to him in a heated situation where two people were arguing, where a man was angry at a young man, I was telling him, I'm not even worried about you. I don't care about you in the slightest. You're not even part of my conscious thinking right now. I'm talking to my friend because I want to communicate something to him, and I stepped in between you and turned my back to you just to show you that you don't mean anything to me. So, why did I tell that story? How does that tie in to current events? Well, about an hour before I went live, I found out that PewDiePie, he dropped armaments on an American factory in Vladimir's backyard. This happened just days after they met face to face and shook hands, all that fake, photo op bullshit that leaders always do. After Donnie was standing on the red carpet clapping like a fucking idiot. What that shows me is that PewDiePie has nothing but raw, naked contempt for Dump. That was a clear message Tiger Guy writes, Are you sour much, Demi? You're so sad, Demi. Enjoy the next 3.5 years. Oh, I love the propaganda parrots that are so tough online. Oh, you rugged guy, you rugged individualist. You're so sad, Demi. That's cute, because that's a girl's name. I get it. You're a rugged dude, Tire Guy 1987. Of course, you wouldn't speak this way to my face because you're a punk and you're proving it right now. But, you know, you keep squawking away. You propaganda parrot, you. Are you sour much, Demi? What kind of adult talks like that? It's so fucking weird. Anyway, let's get the party started. First up, I'm going to invite Danny. Anyone else who wishes to come up can do that. Jeannie, I see you. I'm bringing you up right now. Hey, Danny, what's going on?
Hi,
Hi.
Yoddah. How are you?
I'm excellent. I can barely hear you, Danny. You sound far away.
Huh? How about now?
That's a little bit better. Turn up the
Well, I can't
volume
take
on.
my earbuds out. That's all right. I'll just take them out.
Yeah, those earbuds. I don't think that this platform interacts with Bluetooth very well.
So, Yoda, can I just say I invited a friend of mine. He's called Mega Averse,
Uh
but he's
huh.
like super anti-MAGA. But if you see that, can you invite him up?
Maybe. Sure. That sounds fine.
Maybe.
Hey, so there's 50 of us in here. We are falling dreadfully behind in likes, and I know it's because I'm very compelling as a storyteller, and you forget to tap. Well, please tap. So, Jeannie, how are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. I'm just loving the absolute raw contempt that PewDiePie is showing for Donnie Dump. It's amazing.
PewDiePie? You mean like the
Pootie.
actual
No, not
PewDiePie? Who the fuck
PewDiePie.
is
Pootie.
PewDiePie?
The guy in Russia. So we don't like
Oh,
to
I
name names because
see.
this
I
platform
see.
does not like that. So
Who
yeah, so
Putin?
so what he did, just so you know, and I only learned
Oh
this
no!
about an hour
Listen,
and a
I
half
know.
ago,
I
is
know.
that
Oh, I know.
he dropped armaments on an American factory in Vladimir's backyard. That is
Yep.
absolute contempt.
Oh, did you hear about the oh yeah, it was the what as an American factory, right? Is that one you're talking about?
Yes.
That he yeah. And the thing is that like it was not even close to where the stuff was happening. He made it a point to basically say, "Hey, Donald Trump, you can suck my dick even more." I'm
Yeah.
so sorry I'm laughing about this.
But it is it
But the
is
thing
it
is,
is true. I mean, he went out of his way to just
yeah,
show pure contempt for the guy because there was no reason to do something like that. You know,
yup,
because if you're trying to negotiate with somebody, what he's telling you is like, I just don't give a fuck about you. I don't care what you say. I don't care that you just hosted me in Alaska. I don't care what we talked about. I don't care what you're asking me to do and what you're asking me not to do.
I don't care
Here's a
what your
little
mom
present for
says.
you. Don't use the B word, please.
I said, "Mom."
Oh, gotcha. I thought you said the
I
other
don't
word.
care what your mom says.
Right, right. There you go.
Sorry.
WKRP. Good to see you, brother. Feel free to come
But
up
wait,
if you like.
okay, Yoda, can I just say one real quick thing? I gotta go grab something from my freezer. Not my freezer, but my fridge, and I'll be right back.
All right.
But I gotta say,
Totally didn't need to know that, but thank you for letting me know.
you're welcome. I mean, I could say I'm grabbing a beer, but like, I figure I don't know that might fuck up your live. Don't sass me, traffic.
Okay.
I love Jeannie
So,
so much. Sorry. No, no, you're good.
so traffic, how you doing?
Good.
But
How
wait,
are
wait,
you?
wait. Let me finish, and then I go grab it, and I'll be right back.
Oh,
I
there's
gotta say,
more. Okay.
there is more. There is more. Listen, my God, the fact that anybody still respects this man whose pants are full of poo poo, whose ankles are full of just whatever. Not even the fact that, like, hey, listen to me. I honestly, like, okay, look, I'm actually a very, very reasonable person. But when I actually think about who Donald Trump is at this particular moment in his life, he's an old ass man who thinks he's young, who puts orange makeup on his face to still seem young. His wife doesn't want to touch him. Nobody wants to touch him. He smells like shit because he shits himself. And my God, that is the President of the United States of America. And can I just say immediately that what you have above your head there, Yoda, contempt, is what everybody should have for the President of the United States at this moment. And that's what I'm going to say, and I'll be right back, okay? Love
Excellent.
you.
All right. So, Traffic Man, I
Yes,
don't know. I don't know how much of the opening that you heard, but I'm talking about the fact that Pootie absolutely um, is disrespecting Donnie Dump.
I mean, paint me surprised. Like this man has no respect for any world leader. He has no respect for the people of his country. I think was it last night or the night before? I think even you had mentioned that this man has gone as far as funneling basically all of the money, all of everything through himself because that's who he thinks who he thinks he's just number one. So any meeting that they're going to have, any kind of it's just nonsense. It's a horse and pony show. It's you
Yeah.
know
And unfortunately for America, Dump is the pony.
that's absolutely.
We have a new guest here. Codge something? Cottage, thank you. How you doing?
Good. I just wanted to know if you guys heard about the Intel fiasco.
Yeah, the fact that he's
Which
trying to
one?
nationalize a company.
Yeah, he wants to take 10% for the United States government
Yeah,
from their revenue. So that's some
That's
That's
Intel, am I right?
China
yeah,
socialist stuff.
yeah. I mean, all of the MAGA hats scream about socialism and communism because they don't know what either of those words mean. And, now this guy is pulling something right out of the dictator, authoritarian, communist playbook, and they have no worries about that.
Yeah.
What's the end game with that? Like
Money,
all I've seen is stories of it
money,
happening.
money,
So
period.
B-
That's the end
Well,
game.
what? But like what I mean is like where's that money supposed to go other than in his own pocket?
If
Obviously,
it's connected to the government, it would go to the treasury, which he is actively raiding every day.
okay. That's
Listen, the
because
beauty
yeah,
of Dump is that he is a one-trick pony. He's never hard to figure out. And so greed is what leads everything. It's a greed for money and a greed for power. That's his whole fucking story. You never have to consider anything else about what his motivations might be. Just
right.
follow the money or follow the emotional train wreck, he's like a 5-year-old. I want the Nobel Peace Prize because I'm great. Look at me, look at me. Like it's pathetic.
Right,
It's
right.
pathetic.
And I think, and my struggle is that I keep trying to put some sort of logical end to this. You know
Oh,
what I
don't
mean?
do that. Don't do that. You're wasting
And
your
I,
time.
it's hard. I know, right? Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's none of it is based on logic unless it's the logic of greed or unless it's the logic of someone with a tragically low self-esteem. That's the only logic that's going on here. So Island Boy Pundit, how you doing, brother?
Hey man, I'm good. Um, I saw your word contempt and I wanted to chime in on that because I've made this point before. Um, so a lot of these people that are in government right now, not necessarily Trump, but the people in government, Roosevelt, Musk, and these people, and even if you look at the way those used to barge into those agencies earlier this year, right? They had absolute lack of respect, or I would say contempt, for the
Mhm.
work that these government workers were doing in these agencies daily. That is why they barged in the way they did and were essentially said, "Stop what you're doing," and like yanking away keyboards and mice from the employees. That's contempt. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's pure contempt, loathing for what you do. You're not worth it. I don't need to give you prior warning that I'm coming in here. I can just come in here and do what I want right away. I don't need to give you warning, you know? And that's contempt. Another thing too, which I find is really sad, a large swath of the American public, and it's across ideological lines, has open contempt for government workers or government workers at any level, whether it be state, city, or federal. This is why the mistreatment, the disrespect, the mass firings of all these government workers didn't really move the public needle too much. I mean, I even saw it with some of my coworkers were saying, "Oh, they're useless anyway. What's the big deal?" You know, like I've had people say, "Oh, they
They
come
were
and
so
they
useless that
always."
there was a mad scramble to hire many of them back.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. I've seen people say, "Oh," they point to one worker. They point to one example, one interaction they had, one anecdote they had of somebody who was acting a little too entitled to the benefits he got in government. So you have that one person, and all of a sudden, all government workers are like that person. You know what I'm saying? And they have such contempt. They don't care that, oh, they're useless anyway. Why did they get all these benefits? Why did they get all these job protections? I don't get these job protections. And the central thing I keep asking, right? Okay, the government workers get all these job protections, all these different pensions and stuff. Why do you want them to lose it instead of you coming together and demanding that from your employer? Why do you want them to lose what they have instead of you fighting for it outside? Why don't you say, the government workers have all that stuff, you know, and and here's the thing, if they're so useless and incompetent, then you should even that should even motivate you even more to talk amongst yourselves as workers in the company, and you demand that. Because if the government work, these useless government workers, as they say, can get all these protections and benefits, then you should have it too, because you're saying you believe that you're better. But that's not what we do. We out
Okay,
here, we're
I'm going
like
to invite you up
serfs.
because I definitely want to hear your thoughts on the comment that you made. Kay said the
Mm.
largest employer in the USA should not be the government. LOL. I don't understand the LOL at the end, but I'd love to know what you're talking about.
He's exactly
Because
what the kind of person I'm talking about.
well, I'm not making any assumptions. I'm seeing an opinion, and I'd like to know more about that opinion. And hopefully Kay will come up, and we'll get to the bottom
We'll
of
get
it.
to the bottom. Would you mind if I added on top of what he said?
Not at all.
Okay, so just for the person down there that thinks that Doge did a good job, Since the 1970s.
Wow.
I missed that. Wait a second. Did someone actually say Doge did a good job?
Well, I'm assuming that he's okay with the workers being, fired. So Doge
Who's
fired
he?
them. Well, the person that was saying that the government is too over,
Oh,
or they hire too many people. So I would assume that he agrees with what Doge did.
I mean, I'm not going to make that assumption, but that's fair. Go ahead.
I mean, I think it can be implied, but let's say, let's separate that then. Maybe he doesn't believe that, but a lot of people did like what Doge did, and they went after the people and the government, people making $60,000 a year. Now, those people, since the 1970s, 2.1 million employees federal, right? And they were serving at the time in 1970 202 million citizens. Today, we have the same exact amount of people serving 333 million. That's a
Yep.
65% increase. That's the very definition of efficiency. So why is Doge
Mm-hmm.
fucking with it?
Well, yeah. I mean, what you're doing is using logic to ruin a good story,
Common
right?
sense
And I'm
too.
and I'm guilty of that all the time. You know, uh, Doge was a farce from the beginning. You know, I love the fact that after they were, before they broke up, all of the reality of Doge came out. They had claimed to have saved something like 160 million. I'm sorry, 160 billion from the from the payroll for the treasury, whatever it was, and they could only prove something like 25 billion, right, on paper. Because they claimed one thing, and Doge was notorious for making claims and then probably at least a dozen times having those claims debunked as complete bullshit. So,
Hmm.
and what's really crazy is that the money that they claim to save Americans um, actually costs something like 125 million or 125 billion, whatever it was. I think it was 125 billion. That, so like the net savings was nowhere near what they were talking about. What what Musk was there to do, in my opinion, and I think this is pretty obvious, he was there to get access so that he could get the data so that he could sell it to Palantir. That's what he
Mhm.
was there to do. And as I mentioned, I think last night, I lose track of days so much, but I think last night or sometime this week, I mentioned that it was very interesting that Musk recently got a $200 million contract for Grok for government, Grok AI for government. And it was after he had made the post that dump was in the files. So what that tells me is that clearly dump is in the files, because why would you give someone a $200 million contract after accusing you of something so heinous? It's because he knew he could
Not,
prove it.
not
Exactly.
just that though. Not just that though. Yeah, it was immediate silence, and then also the media was completely silent after that. And like
Well, the
that's the
media is
thing.
going to be
That's
silent. The media,
no,
the
I know, but
media
like,
now
wait,
is completely nullified. The mainstream media is worthless to
no, I know,
anything
but
that
the
we
thing is
need
that,
to do.
what I'm saying is that, how do we rectify that? Because now we
How
know
do we rectify
all
what?
media, basically all previous media. So, like, you know, MSNBC. I mean, Fox News was never actually.
Yeah. So all
uh,
legacy media. So yeah,
all
what's the
legacy,
question?
but now they're no longer uh, in any way truthful. who do we turn to?
Independent media.
Yes,
You
but
know
the thing is that now independent media,
what
but
I find.
independent media also
Let me
includes.
well
Let me finish
let me
real quick.
explain what that is. Let me explain what independent media is to me. So you have some echoes, so I'm going to mute you for a minute. So what I do anytime I want to know something about a subject is I find the experts. And experts are generally very easy to find because when you start searching for things, you start seeing that all roads lead to this one person or one group of people, one podcast, something like that. You know, you start seeing the trail of credibility because like for instance, Parnas, right? Why do we rely on Parnas? Why do we trust Parnas? Well, you know what? I'm not going to say wait. I'll tell you why I trust Parnas. Is because in the roughly year and a half that I've been following him, he only fucked up one or two stories, right? Most of the time he's completely accurate. And so he's built up trust as an expert that I can rely on as part of independent journalism, right? So go ahead. What's your thoughts on that?
No, absolutely, and that's the thing. He is an absolutely trustworthy, independent journalist.
So that's
However,
what we do.
when I
We
no,
just
but listen,
follow the
listen.
trail of experts.
But wait, listen. We travel. I mean, we follow that, but there are so many people out there who have no idea what to do. And like even we were talking about. Oh, sorry, I was in this other live, and I was talking about. Someone had mentioned why young men are so um, able to vote for Trump. And I started to talk about the right wing pipeline. And these guys were like, we don't even know what that is. And
Jeannie, I
I tried to go
apologize.
into it.
Hold that thought. Traffic man, what's the breaking news?
Oh no, I was just saying the Aaron Parnas every video when he pops up, he says we have breaking news.
Oh, you
Yeah,
fucking
sorry,
distracted me. Sorry, Jeannie. Go ahead.
sorry, I should do that.
No, all good. That's true. Like we have breaking news, or we have very important news, or we have some serious news. Yeah, it's very true. Have you seen like they have I will go on with what I'm saying, but have you seen they have on YouTube? I think it's like a cut of
Can't
every
name
time
other
he.
platforms, just so you know.
Oh, sorry. The YT
Wow, really?
thing where it
Yeah,
says basically like you can go look it up, and it's just Aaron Parnas's intros. And so I was like, we have breaking news, or we have very important news, or we have, and it just goes like for about I think 15 minutes, just that part. But anyways, okay.
cool. Hey, Gravedigger, what's up, man? Good to see you.
Hey, Gravedigger, what's up?
By the way, did
Sorry.
everybody hear the theme song that Gravedigger made for Danny?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
It's
No, I didn't.
fantastic. Yeah, yeah.
Can you play it
So,
again, or it was
um,
badass? If you want to.
I'll invite you to go to Gravedigger's profile and check it out. It's Danny's logo for the Way of Positive Change. That beautiful logo. By the way, Danny, where'd you get that beautiful logo?
My little brother made it for me. The professor right
That's
here. I'm
right.
looking at him.
Nice.
I am such a shameless whore. Anyway,
Hmm.
so continue, Jeannie. What were you saying?
I was just saying that, like, so this other live I was in, we were talking about, um, there was a young man, or a couple young men on the panel, and they were talking about how they thought that it was just best, they thought it was the left wing media pushing them to be more right wing. So I kind of went into the whole like, this is what the right wing pipeline is. It doesn't start with just saying, hey, I'm a Nazi, you know what I mean? Oh, wow. I'm just going to say it like that. It didn't start out like that. It starts out by saying, hey, I want to be stronger, or I want to do this, or I'm upset that women don't like me, or I wonder how to make women like me, and then it's called a pipeline
We're
for a
kind of straying
reason.
way off topic here, but
Mhm.
your friend MAGA Averse has joined
He is
us.
awesome. Yes, please let
Excellent.
him up. He is so
So MAGA
awesome.
Averse, if you'd like to join us, feel free to request up. You know, because Jeannie says that
I am.
it would be a good idea.
I will absolutely.
So let's go down the line. Any thoughts so far, Island Boy Pundit?
Um, well, me as a media studies major, that's one of my double majors in college. Um, what I see going on here right now, the Trump administration and the right wing are master manipulators
Wait,
of
sorry to interrupt. Island Boy, are
Mm.
you? You're not from Barbados, are you?
No,
Where are you
Antigua,
from?
Antigua.
Ah, okay. So I noticed a little bit of an accent. So I'm from Barbados, so I had to
Oh, you're
mention.
Bajan. You're
Yes,
Bajan.
I'm
Yeah,
Bajan.
uh, yeah,
All
like
right,
Cardi
sorry. You
B,
go
right?
ahead. I'm sorry.
By the way, Island Boy, I dated a
Mm.
woman who handled tourism for Antigua.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, the other name we have for it is what the indigenous call the island is Wadadli.
gotcha. I had
Yeah.
to break up with her because her Vagematic was trash. But anyway,
Oh boy.
please
Oh
continue.
boy.
Oh,
Oh my
what?
God.
Wait a minute.
Oh my
Wait.
God.
For what?
Go
Right.
ahead,
Let's leave
continue.
that one alone. Leave that one alone.
Yeah, yeah.
No, no.
Um.
What is a Vagematic?
I'm not
Okay. Don't.
getting
Let's
into
not
it
get
right
into
now.
that.
I muted you
Let's leave
because
that
I
one
wanted to
alone.
talk. Let other people talk. So let's go. Go ahead, Island Boy,
Hmm.
finish up.
Um. What I'm seeing here is the right wing's game and Trump's game is on point. I mean, there's so many different ways they're manipulating the media right now. Trump makes news every day. Trump does something to keep himself in the news every day. There's a headline about something Trump says or does every single day that he's in office. And that's part of his political strategy. And the thing that frustrates me about Democrats, very few Democrats know how to do that well. And the few Democrats know how to do that well, the party establishment doesn't like them when they do that, which drives me nuts. But then the party establishment doesn't like when they do that because those damn Democrats, when they do certain things, when they, use the media the way they do, the messages they come out there that go viral offends their corporate overlords. And the corporate overlords, like, even though they get the Democrats are always underfunded, right? And the Democrats will bend over backwards to get all this money, but the same corporate overlords that give to them in the light give 10 times that amount to the GOP in dark money. You know what I'm saying? The same people.
Mm-hmm.
And it drives me nuts because the Democrats are trying to please two antithetical masters. They're trying to present themselves like if they're in the media at least. The messaging in the media is, oh, we're fighting for you, the people. But then in the same time in the media, you hear them being all feckless and stop and bring themselves in pretzels at, calling out an active G side,
Well,
you know?
that's why I say that the
I can't,
America is not
I'm
for by and of
furious.
the people. It's just absolutely not. But let me move on to. I
Mm.
have such a shitty short term memory. Is it Cottage?
Oh, Coda J.
Yeah, it's
Cottage?
code.
Cottage? Okay,
Mhm.
I'll do my best to remember that. I'm old and dumb. Anyway, your thoughts.
Um, so I mean, based on what he sounds like he was getting into the ineffectiveness of the Democratic Party. Um, there's, I guess, I was still hung up on people ignoring the bigger things that are affecting the
You
economy.
can
Like,
talk about anything you want to talk about. What are your
okay,
thoughts?
okay, thank you. My main focus for this entire election was the economy because I knew that based on whoever got in office was going to determine our economic future. At
And you knew
least,
that dump was a train wreck on the economy in his first term.
yeah, exactly. So The reason why I knew Trump was the wrong guy for it is because if you look at since Reagan, right? You look at the history of the Republicans, what they do is they're like, the best analogy I can give you is they're the rock stars and the Democrats are the people that come into the hotel and clean it up after they've fucked everything up.
That's fair.
Economically anyways. So I knew from his first term when the tariffs that, don't get me wrong, some tariffs are good when they're targeted on industries that exist. That's fine. That's why I didn't care
Although,
that.
Jay, can I ask you, did you vote for Trump the first term?
No, no, he didn't. No. Because I knew who he represented the whole time. I mean, just look at him. He's a corporate shill is what they call him, right? So the big beautiful new bill is just an extension of the TCJA. If you look at the TCJA, the funny thing was every tax cut ended except for the corporate. That right there told me that this guy is for corporations and that's it. Okay. And when he had the tariffs the first time, that bankrupted 20% of family farms because he went too aggressive with it. And then when I heard that he was going to do it across the board, I'm like, that's going to be even worse. And the problem is, a lot of the things that he cut were, as far as Medicaid and is it Medicaid? Yeah, Medicaid and SNAP almost correlate with the tax cuts that he gave to the rich. I mean, you can't make this up. It's crazy that people don't see these things, how they're related.
Well, dumb
And
people don't see it. You know, the people that, their family tree doesn't go straight up, we tend to figure these things out. But those are all excellent points. Before we move on to, oops, shit. Sorry, I meant to mute you and I accidentally disconnected you. Please come back up. Before we move on to Traffic Man, let me welcome our new guest, Magaverse. How you doing? You'll have to unmute yourself.
How you doing? Sorry about that.
No worries.
Doing well. How you doing?
I'm fantastic. So I know you've only been here for a few minutes. We've been talking about a bunch of things. Obviously, you could probably glean that we are not fans of the big convict in the White House.
And I noticed that you did notice that I have a verse on the back half of my name there,
Mm-hmm.
and nor am I. so, I'm basically just taking it in right now. I don't have a whole lot to add at this moment.
Cool.
I'm basically,
All right.
I mean, I think anybody with eyes can realize the guy's been a grifter as long as any of us have ever been able to see him on the TV or
Yeah.
hear him on the Howard Stern
His whole
show.
life,
Obviously,
his whole life,
his whole life.
he's been a grifter and a loser and a cheat and a criminal. All right, well, hang out. We'll come back to you a little later. Traffic Man, what are your thoughts?
So I would like to touch on your topic of the evening,
Oh,
contempt,
you got me
if I
excited for
may.
a second when you said touch on your.
Oh,
Oh,
ooh, hey.
What?
See, now you got Jeannie going. No, uh, I think the biggest person in our current federal government that has the most contempt for anybody is Stephen Miller. Just
yeah, but
this,
he's not
or
even
yeah,
human, so that you can expect that
well,
from
right,
him.
right. But I mean, just watching him last night at Union Station with what he had to say. I mean, it's how anybody can sit there and just be like, yeah, this man should be in our circle. Just
You know what?
absolutely
I'm glad you
blows my
brought that
mind.
up. I want to get back to what you're saying, but I want to pause
Hmm.
on Miller for a moment
Yeah, that's fine.
and his speech specifically that you just referenced. I'm hoping that most of you are familiar with the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh,
what he
yes.
was
Very
talking about
familiar.
was that.
Yep.
That's what this fucking clown was talking about. He is a subhuman. Okay, Kay. Didn't I invite Kay up earlier and he
I
didn't come
think you
up?
did.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna block you now because you're a jackass. So, when people keep chirping in the chat after I invite them up, then they gotta go. That's just my personal policy. Because if I mute them, then they report the live, and I have no time for all that shit. But, I want everybody to go to Wikipedia after this and read about the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, and especially the, what did they call it? Grossaktion Warsaw. That's German for Great Action. Great Action Warsaw. What they did the year before and what they continue to do after the uprising is some of the most heinous shit you'll ever read. And the fact that Miller is invoking that kind of energy regarding a U.S. city that is doing just fine across the board on almost every metric, especially crime, is just terrifying. This is the shit that I've been warning about since 2015. And I know I sound like a broken record saying that over and over again, but it really irks me, all the shit that I got for saying what I said 10 years ago, which was, hey, folks, this fucking clown over here sounds like that piece of shit from 1930s Germany. And now they are following that trajectory to the fucking letter. Jeannie, you keep raising your hand, but I'm going to let
I'm gonna
Traffic
tell
Man
you.
finish his
Uh,
point, and then we'll get back to you.
yeah. I want
But
to jump into
no,
when you're done.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's just on the topic of the evening. I mean, when we talk about contempt, I mean, if you want the embodiment of it right now in this country, I mean, that man is just
Yeah.
the ideal image of that.
And
Absolutely.
and it takes a lot for me to refer to another human being as a subhuman, because that is a very strong thing to say about another human
Hmm.
being. But he qualifies. He is
He absolutely does.
absolutely subhuman. He's a sociopath. Um, all of the things that I've read over the last 48 years in psychology has me convinced that he has not 1 ounce of human emotion in him. He smiles at cruelty, he laughs at suffering. He's a piece of
Yep.
garbage. And when you
Uh,
when you give people like that power, horrible things happen. Go ahead, Jeannie, you wanted to say?
There was quite a few things I wanted to say about, but no, you're absolutely right. Stephen Miller is honestly like one of the most reprehensible human beings in this world at the moment. So I don't even really want to go too much further on that because I will get myself in trouble, because I would prefer that he is underwater with no way to breathe. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's an easy code to crack.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, he could take a trip on that. What was it? The
The
sub that went down to the Titanic,
ocean.
right?
Yeah, one of them there.
Ocean Gate. Ocean Gate.
That's right. That's right. Not just that, but I did want to talk about, and I know this is I'm going back to an area, but to be honest, and Megaverse, you were in there with me, yeah. So I do want to talk about how to possibly relate to younger men,
All right, so we'll
not
come
just.
back to that because
Oh,
I'm
Yeah.
waiting
Can I?
for a few people to finish up on
yep.
this topic, but keep that in the back of your mind because I like that topic. All right. So go ahead, Island Boy. You wanted to say something, and then after that,
Yeah.
Danny.
The thing about like, I feel like you touched on something. I've been talking about what Trump represented since 2015 too, myself and a few other people. And even before that, and I feel like a freaking seer. Like, it's even worse for me. I feel even worse because what I saw Democrats do, I'm going taking it even further back. What I saw Democrats do in the 2014 midterm elections, right? Where they basically ran from all the accomplishments that they had with President Obama and ran to sidle up to Hillary Clinton. In one of my blog posts that I had at the time, I predicted that Hillary Clinton was going to lose. I predicted that she was gonna get her turn usurped again, like what happened with President Obama. And I predicted she was going to lose.
Island. Sorry to interrupt again, Island, but you're actually right. And I think one of the problems that Democrats have at this particular moment is not taking accountability for all that shit that happened before. Because you're absolutely right. Like, listen, Hillary Clinton probably should not have been the. I think I think it was forced.
Yes.
Not, and one thing is that, like, as a woman,
Hmm.
I was excited to see a woman being, um, put as the what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for?
As the candidate.
Candidate. Thank you. I was
Hmm.
and I just forgot everything else. But
Hmm.
I think you're right, and not to say that it's not that she was not capable or anything like that,
I'll say
but
this much, right? I'll say this much too, right?
it's a
Continue what I'm
temporary.
saying.
Is
Yeah,
what?
I'll say this much, right? I think in 2015, Hillary Clinton should not have been the candidate. Joe Biden should have ran instead of her.
You think so?
Yes.
Yeah, that
But
would
you
have
see,
been a
Joe
much
Biden,
smarter move. I mean, he would have been
yeah,
drafting off the Obama administration.
yeah.
I
And it's only
understand
Well,
why he
because he
didn't.
lost his son. Yeah, I
I
understand that.
get absolutely. I get why he didn't, but that would have been the
He should
perfect
have ran.
scenario.
And you know something, the thing that pissed me off with Hillary, right? Hillary Clinton did like this, the Democrats have a habit of ignoring certain uncomfortable truths
mm,
about how the public sees them. Hillary
yes,
Clinton did not acknowledge the fact that the right wing has been irradiating her as this ogre for literally fucking decades
you are
since the
so right.
Clinton time.
I don't think
You
that was her
needed to
biggest mistake.
acknowledge that. She needed to acknowledge that Rush Limbaugh and them went to their fucking graves doing that to her ad nauseum every single day, every week for decades, man. Right? But
I don't think that would have meant anything because she made the unbelievably stupid decision to call anyone that wanted to vote for Dump a basket of deplorables.
Not
That
just
you know
was
that.
what? No, no, no. Hold on. I
Okay,
disagree with you. I
wait,
just say, hold
Island.
on, wait, hold
One
on, wait. Let me
sec.
okay.
finish.
Well,
Let me
okay.
finish.
Oh,
Let me
oh,
finish.
Promise.
let
Let me
me let me
finish.
finish my thought, and then everybody else can
Hmm.
finish theirs. Okay. So you have one fucking job as a candidate, and that is to get as many people to vote for you as possible. Calling half of the fucking voting public deplorables is fucking stupid. Period. Go ahead, Island Boy. Tell me your disagreement about that.
I find the way she could have phrased that better, and she could have taken a page out of Trump. You notice Trump says certain things that people get upset at him for. He never
You're
apologizes.
saying phrase an insult better to half the voters? That's what you're saying?
No, 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 no. I'm
You
saying
said she
she
could have
could have.
phrased it better.
No,
That
no,
was
no,
an
no. The
insult to
way
half of the voters. What's phrasing better
I'm
about that?
saying, I think
Do not ever take
you're
a
even
page
get
out of
taken up.
Trump. Please.
No,
No.
no, no, no. Honestly, I think that's the problem we have as Democrats.
No.
Democrats
Island,
want to hold on, wait, let me finish.
Hold up. Go ahead, Island Boy.
Democrats like to fight too highbrow.
No, this is
They
not about
fight too
fighting
highbrow.
highbrow. This is about campaigning.
let him
You
finish, and
have
then
to
I will.
attract voters. That's your fucking job.
But wait. Let
How
him
are you
finish.
gonna attract voters by calling half the voters a basket of deplorables? How does that make sense on
You're
any
right.
planet?
You're right. The thing is that you're right, and he's agreeing with you, but he's talking about people voting for Trump. Yeah, Island.
No, but what I'm saying, let me land my plane. I'm saying what Trump was saying even then was patently awful. And I find even then the Democrats and Hillary did not come out with strong enough language to condemn what he's saying. She could have couched that comment in saying, like, listen, what you like the things he says he's for, right? these things are not good. So you need. She could have said, "Listen,
She said plenty of
if
that.
you're okay,
She
I
Wait.
told
know,
us
but
what he
if
would
you're
do.
okay for that,
Please.
She called him out
Please.
on a lot of stuff. Hold on. We're going to get
No,
to
but
it.
I
Take it
actually have
easy. We're going to get to it. Okay?
to. Okay.
So,
Mhm.
she stood on stage next to him and insulted him several different ways. That's not what I'm talking about. It's got nothing to do with Dump. It's got nothing to do with what Dump said or what Dump did. That's a separate conversation. She is, as a candidate, trying to appeal to voters, and she alienated half of them. That's a huge fucking mistake. Go ahead, Jeannie.
Thank you. So what I was gonna say is that basically I get what you're saying, Island. Can you actually reiterate what you were saying about?
I am saying, right? Oh wait, we're echoing here. I'm saying, oh man, I hate that. Let me.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I just kind of wanted you to reiterate what you had said, so I could then, you know, give my point. Is that okay?
All right, am I sound better now?
Well,
Mm-hmm.
while
You
we're
sound
waiting
good.
for his sound, there's still an echo. So while we're waiting for that to sort itself out, Danny, what are your thoughts so far?
Oh, I have many thoughts, but my number one contempt, other than this, obviously we're picking on the Democrats now, but my biggest contempt is the Trump administration completely. I I have complete contempt for everybody that's involved in that administration and what they're doing and destroying this country and literally taking our democracy away. And that is their mission, is to make this a dictatorship, a fascist country. And I have complete contempt about it. The second thing I have contempt about is Democrats eating their own. They do it often. I'm done with it. I'm tired of hearing it. You guys can keep arguing about it. Y'all can keep giving us an autopsy about it. But the problem is, I've been a Democrat longer than most of you people have been alive. And what pisses me off is that's what happens. Every time we have an election or getting ready to find a candidate, we eat our own, and we don't end up with the best person at all. And 9 times out of 10, when that happens, we lose. So, just like we're already starting to hear crap about Newsom right now. Well, Newsom's not our candidate. Jeannie, give me a minute, please. I agree with everybody. They all have their problem with Gavin. But right now, there've been 7 months. Nobody in the Democratic Party had stepped up to lead. We had no leader. After the election and we lost, everybody just went back, sat on their hands, and started crying in the corner. And we can't win that way. But we got to have a party that's going to stand up against this fascist crap that's going on. And he's the only one that stood up finally and said enough is enough. And like Yoda said the other day about Malcolm X, we have to win by any means necessary. And we need to start thinking that way, because if we don't, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have a third term of Trump, whether it's Vance or Trump gets to run in 2028 and gets elected. That's what you're looking at. Or maybe Stephen Miller. Are you ready for President Stephen Miller? So think about this a minute. And Yoda, I landed my plane. I'll let you guys keep
Excellent. So, Magaverse, now that you've been in the mix for a minute, what are your thoughts?
It's difficult for the Dems to coordinate in the same way as the Republicans do because we don't have the network and the existing infrastructure in place because we don't have the corporate backing and the monetary capabilities to do that. Also, how we did it in the past, how we did it in the 70s, for instance, we use the trade unions. Um, and they managed to legislate out, uh, giving a right to work and whatnot, and basically trade or busting our unions, which has left us uh, with a big hole in the Midwest states, with the inability to coordinate and convey our message to working class voters in the way that we once did. So we need to obviously push for unions again, and b figure out how to use social media like we are right now to get this message out in um, a reliable way, a way that will actually reach people and land.
I agree with most of that. The only distinction that I would make is that although the communications infrastructure is dominated by the right, um, we have access to it as well. The Democrats have access to the same social media platforms. They have access to this, the billionaire class and all of that. And I think what it is Democrats are about 50 years behind the strategy of the Republicans because they've been doing this since Nixon, right? Rupert Murdoch started Fox specifically so that what happened to Nixon wouldn't happen to any other president, right? And so
Yep.
we did not, and I'm saying we, even though I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, the side that I think is the most sensible side did not keep in step with the machinery that the Republicans were building. However, they might be late to the party, but at this point, they don't have any excuses as far as I'm concerned. Even though it's a challenge, I get it. When you look at all the hours of right wing television versus left wing television, I totally acknowledge all of that. But at the end of the day, let's take the last contests of 2024. What I hear Democrats saying, which I completely condemn them for saying this. Oh, but the Republicans were lying. Okay, so that means it's your job to tell the truth better. And you have no excuse for not being able to do that. We have young people like Crockett, like AOC. There's some Democrats that are useless. I agree with that. But we have to stop, in my opinion, looking for the reasons why we can't succeed and figuring out how the fuck to succeed. Go ahead, Jeannie.
Thank you. Um, the one thing that I think that Democrats and the left wing is never going to figure it. Not that they won't figure it out. Or the thing is that the right wing is fine with manipulation.
That's okay.
The left wing, but the
Both
left wing
both
is
wings
not
are
going
into
to be.
manipulation. Manipulation
No,
is not a
no,
bad word. Manipulation literally means to take by the hand. Okay?
no.
So
I know,
that's
but
what you
okay,
do in an election. You manipulate voters. You take them by the hand so that they will vote for you.
okay. But Yoda, what I'm talking about is the right wing pipeline. So that's very different. It's actually manipulation to the point of changing someone's actual like. Anyways, I feel like the right
So
wing are
are
very.
you trying to say
Wait,
that
wait.
the Democrats can't communicate as effectively
No,
as the
no, no, not
Republicans?
can't, not can't, but refuse to. And the thing is that I don't want to be part of a party or part of a wing or whatever that is okay with fully manipulating and brainwashing people. If you have to do that to get your point across, your point doesn't matter.
That's what you have to do to get your point across. This is life, and propaganda is everywhere, right? The
No,
goal
I agree
the
with you.
goal is to out propaganda the competition. So I
No,
just can't accept that Democrats can't do this, and I know that's not what you're saying, but I do hear people sort of using that as an excuse. Oh, the right wing juggernaut, blah blah blah. Well, build a left wing fucking juggernaut.
no, and I get that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that like the ideas should speak for themselves. But when it comes to the right wing, it's not about their ideas. Don't speak for themselves. Their ideas, like they're not ideas. They're bullshit. That
It doesn't
um,
matter. It doesn't
I
matter.
know, but I'm
There,
not okay.
but we keep pointing at what the Republicans are doing. We all know what the Republicans are doing.
I know, but
They
I'm not
use
okay with
propaganda. They lie.
Republicans.
We get it. So that means that the Democrats' job is to tell the truth better.
Yes, okay, I like that. Megaverse, what do you think? And absolutely, that's exactly what it is. I'm saying that the right wing does not actually tell the truth. They just slide it into what they think people want to hear, and it then is never the truth again. It turns into lies, but lies that are so believable that who can tell the difference, right?
Again, that's what propaganda is. Propaganda is just
Exactly.
repeating something over and over again. And the thing is that propaganda works on lies the same way it works on the truth. That's why propaganda is happening on both sides. The problem is the Democrats won't do or haven't done what Gavin Newsom is showing you can do now. Sorry, since there's an echo, I have to mute you. But the Gavin Newsom is doing exactly what Danny said. He is being the example to wake Democrats up and say it's time to stop with all the horseshit excuses, all the crybaby nonsense. Oh, they're lying. Shut the fuck up. We know they're lying. Of course they're lying. They can't help but lie. Oh, what happened here?
I gotta
Sorry.
okay,
Whatever.
drop me down,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
bring me back.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So
sure.
anyway, so all I'm saying basically is that I am not accepting any excuses from the Democratic Party for why they can't be as effective as the Republicans. Obama faced the same shit. Okay? Clinton faced the same shit. She fucked up. She fucked up. She had it in the bag. She was reaching voters, and then she fucked up by saying what she said, and also near the end she took her foot off the gas, in my opinion. But that one big fuck up, in my opinion, is what sank her. You cannot alienate half of the voting public. That is just literally the opposite of what a candidate is there to do. So, Traffic Man, we haven't heard from you in a while. What are your thoughts on all this madness?
Well, I mean, if we're speaking about Hillary, yeah, I completely agree. I mean, she had a decent running, and I will tell you that as a younger person at the time, I was leaning more towards Bernie Sanders, and the Democratic National Convention didn't want to hear it. They just didn't. They didn't. They knew who they wanted. They didn't care what Bernie's policies were. They didn't care what Bernie's opinions were. They
They
were
didn't
they
care
were
that he
gung
was
ho
leading
for
in the
Hillary.
polls much more than Hillary
Absolutely,
was.
absolutely. And they had made the decision that they felt that no matter who the candidate is, it's going to be Hillary. And as far as the DNC is concerned, I feel that was their failing, that they didn't list. They didn't listen. They didn't
100%.
care. You know.
100%. Their attitude was similar to what we just saw in January. Oh, it's this person's turn. No. You don't go by some mindless fucking it's that person's turn. No, you evaluate
Yeah.
who has the best chance of winning, who has the best chance of being
Exactly.
effective. They put this guy who was very, very sick and 75 years old, which
Yes.
his age is secondary to me. The fact is that he was feeble because he was sick
He
and
was ill.
then
Yes.
croaked 3 months later.
Yeah.
Right? So like they
Yes.
instead of going for someone vital, someone good at social media, someone that has
Right.
name recognition and all that good shit, they're like, "Oh, who's next on the list?" That's what the DNC did with
Exactly.
Hillary, because right before that decision, I remember vividly because I was watching this shit every day. Hillary was leading by 4 and Bernie was leading by 12. The
Yep.
fact that you don't
Yep.
choose the person leading by 12, well, you fucked us.
Yeah, that's on you. I get you right. Exactly. And at the time, I will tell you one of the big turnoffs with Hillary was they were trying to do some sort of like viral social media campaign, where they were interjecting her into different Vine. I don't know if you're familiar with that or
Yeah,
not. That
before Tiki Taki.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was a couple. There was two of them that at least stand out in my mind. One was the whole "you have to Pokemon go to the polls." Listen, and I know this is going to sound dumb to anybody that's older than me, but like even myself, I was like cringing over the fact that she said that because like you
So
want
that
to
kind of
remove yourself.
nullifies the comment you just made about people older than you. Of course,
Well, no,
it made everyone cringe because it was a fucking
right,
dumb thing.
right,
Hillary.
exactly.
This is the thing I never liked about Hillary. She is a pure politician, and what I mean by
Yes,
that is that she takes no stances. She just follows the polls. She was against
right,
rainbow marriage until the polls made it popular, and then she was for it. I hate that kind of politician, right? So
right,
that was my
right.
beef with her. It wasn't all the hype and bullshit and all that nonsense that the right was talking about. It's just I don't like that type of politician. I want someone to take a stance, to lead. This is what Obama did so well.
Yes.
He how many things did he say that were controversial, but they were the right thing to say, right? They were the right thing to
So
do,
many. Yes,
because he wasn't waiting for pollsters to make up his fucking mind for him.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, um, there's one thing I will say on this, like on this app in particular. I don't ever see any Hillary Clinton speeches being replayed for anybody, but
Yeah,
all the
because
time,
they were the
you're
equivalent
right.
of a fucking American, not even American cheese, Velveeta melted
Yeah,
on white
right.
bread. Like that that's like she never made a memorable fucking speech in her
No.
life.
Well, but remember, the only memorable things that she's ever said have been mistakes.
Yes.
you know, or
She would
what?
show up. She showed up to, I think it was the Breakfast Club, and just, oh, you're amongst people of color, so for the first time ever, you're going to pull out hot sauce from your purse and
No,
claim that you take it anywhere, everywhere. And here's the thing: I
I don't
can't
remember
say
that, but
she's lying. I can't say she's
God,
lying because I don't know her like that. But I can
sure,
say that that was the goofiest fucking timing ever. Like you never talked about hot sauce before. And the time that you decide to literally take it out of your purse is when you're amongst people of color. It's just
yeah,
goofy.
yeah,
But she puts that shit on
exactly,
everything.
Yeah.
yeah.
Except her
Well,
husband.
Right.
but yeah, that's one of the speeches I just saw the other night from President Obama, where he was speaking of when he was in North Carolina or South Carolina, and there was the lady who was the head of the NAACP down there. I believe her name was
Fired up.
oh God, yes, fired up. Yeah, yes, exactly. And just seeing that speech again, like I was excited. I
Let me
was
reveal
enthralled.
something that I don't
Go ahead.
think I'm. If I reveal this, it was a long time ago, but I'll happily reveal it again. I cannot remember a speech that Obama made, even the example that he gave with the fired up lady, that didn't
Right.
leave me with at least tingles at the end, and more often than not left me crying. When he would
Yeah.
do his MLK type speeches, that they always wrecked me. You know, like that's how I
Same.
still react to. I have seen the mountaintop speech. I have,
Yep.
oh no, not how to see. Yeah, I've been to the mountaintop. I may not get there with you, and that was the day before he got, which is fucking
Yep.
wild. But like, his "I Have a Dream" speech, of course, and I listened to the whole fucking speech, not the 2 minute clip, because when you hear the whole
Right.
speech, you go that this is a fucking orator.
Uh-huh.
Not a guy telling stories about Hannibal Lecter. Fucking hell.
The late great.
Ugh.
Yep.
But no,
The
but you're
late
absolutely
great
right.
Hannibal
That
Lecter.
that I mean, the Democrats don't, like even aside from Gavin Newsom, they don't have somebody that can make you excited at the end
Then
of
then
that
let it
speech.
be
That
Gavin
yeah.
Newsom. We don't need someone aside from Gavin Newsom.
Well,
We need someone that brings heat and immediacy to the
Yes, but
issue.
right,
also,
right.
Last night, and then I'll finish and you can go. Last
yeah.
night, someone was saying when I had Newsom over my head, and I mean
Hmm.
the name Newsom, not actually Gavin Newsom, but when I had Newsom on the screen,
Red Newsom over
someone
your head.
someone
What?
in the chat said it's too early to start talking about the next candidate. That's where
Right.
Democrats fuck up, because the Republicans have been planning for 2028 since fucking 1978. Okay,
Right.
because that's how the fuck they roll, and
Yeah.
that's how we need to roll. And right now, Newsom, I don't care what the fucking negatives are. He's got a long list of positives. He's got a lot of heat, and he's a leader. So until somebody else comes up that is more
Right.
worthy of his leadership, then I'm going with him. And I
Right.
don't give a fuck what I don't like about the guy. I don't give a fuck what anybody doesn't like about the guy. The idea is we have to stop fascism. So stop all the fucking purity
Yes.
tests.
Yeah.
Stop
Exactly.
only accepting perfect candidates. That shit is for the birds, man. We need
Right.
to choose someone
Right.
that has a chance of winning. End of
And,
story.
and
Get him. I will
that's what I
say
was
that.
trying to
Go ahead.
say. Real quick, that's what I was trying to say. With leave Gavin Newsom aside, because like he has what we need right now. He
Yep.
has this.
Yep.
Anybody else in the Democratic Party is just feckless, is just falling on their face. There's no motion anywhere else in the Democratic Party other than Gavin Newsom. And
Yeah.
And
unfortunately,
Jasmine
I know Zohar Mandami can't run for president.
Yeah.
I'm well aware of the
And there
situation
are
there.
people there
But
are other people in the Democratic Party that I would vote for. Jeannie just mentioned Jasmine Crockett. I would vote for her in a heartbeat.
sure,
And
sure.
it's not just because I want to bang the fucking curls out of her hair.
I
It's
mean,
because
she's
she's an
attractive. I'll give
amazing
you that.
and
how dare
qualified
you?
person. But before we continue,
Right.
let's welcome Stephen Martin. Hey, long time no see, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Long day today. Yeah. Listen, I'm a California Democrat. I don't love Newsom personally, but he is who we need. We need to start figuring out our own paths to being able to support him. Even Jasmine Crockett said we need to elect the safest white boy possible. That's going to be Gavin Newsom, and I hope to God I already have his VP, Mark Milley. That is the
That
ticket
would
for
be
me.
spectacular. Oh my God, that would be a spectacular pick, because
Could you imagine?
Millie hates
Oh,
Dump with a white hot passion.
absolutely. And he would be, because the vice president is like alongside this Secretary of State as a chief diplomat on behalf of the president. I think there'd be nobody better to sew up our world relationships
Yeah,
than
you can't impugn
former.
Millie no matter how you try.
No, no, exactly. And
Millie
I think it's
reminds
a
me of
perfect
Danny.
pick.
Millie has the kind of respect that Danny has. So
Yeah.
this is real. So we have another person joining. Stacy, how you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
I am excellent. What's on your mind?
So, like Steve, I'm a California Democrat, and while I like Newsom, there are some things there's some things he's under great scrutiny about in here in California. And quite honestly, I'll be very honest. I don't even have the time to look it up and verify it because I'm so busy keeping track of all the stuff that's going down with this current administration. What I will say is that I think if he can keep this energy up and keep this momentum, he'll be able to overcome the negativity come 2026 midterms and come 2028 for a presidential election. And that was it. Thank you.
I agree. Excellent.
I
Thank you for
totally agree
joining
with
us.
you.
Can I take this one? I'm so sorry.
Go ahead,
Can I
Gene.
take this? So I want to take this one because I gotta say, Stacy, I agree with you, but also look at what has been happening with the Republican Party. Like, does it really have to do with anything? Like, for real? Like, listen, okay. I actually never thought, and not never thought, like, there was a moment maybe in 2022 that I was like, yeah, Gavin Newsom could be a possible. And then, people were just like, oh, he's too grimy and shit. But Donald Trump, talk about grimy. He is, he's a goddamn Ninja Turtle. Like, for real. Like, I'm sorry, but Donald Trump has not only won once and then lost and then is now again president. This is unprecedented. I don't think this is. Has this ever actually happened in like American history where someone has won once, not won again, and then won again?
I
Has
think
that ever happened?
I vaguely remember that it has, but I don't recall the details on that.
Yes. Um,
Yeah, I feel like it has
Who
too.
said yes?
yeah,
It's
it's
MAGA.
me. It has happened, and it's.
Sorry, I'm gonna call
Oh,
you
give me
a
a second.
verse, not MAGA, because I hate calling you MAGA. A verse.
Call me Chad. It's my name.
Chad.
Okay.
Oh shit, I forget. Millard Fillmore or Taft? Anyways,
Yeah,
it
I
was
don't
in that
remember,
region.
but I
Go on.
just
Not
have a
Taft.
vague
Taft became
recollection
Supreme
that
Court.
it happened before.
Taft became the Supreme Court Justice, Chief Justice.
Okay.
So it kind of happened, but not really ever. But okay. Anyways, let's pretend that it never happened. Okay. No, not even that. But it's just like, listen. The fact that Donald Trump, a reality TV star who got famous for telling people they were
Grove
fired.
of Cleveland. There it is.
Okay. But got
That's
famous
it.
for telling people he was, they were fired. Then got famous being a president for firing people. That was like within his first. Like, the thing is that I think
Can
he
everybody mute
actually.
up so that there's no background noise?
I think he actually, and I could be wrong about this, but he's the first president that fired as many people. Like, in his first term, I'm talking about. Like, he fired a lot of people. A lot of people in his first term. Am I correct?
I don't know what the stat is on that. I know
Oh,
he had a lot of people that got arrested and and convicted of crimes. But I will
that
tell you one distinction that Dump has is that he is the only president in American history that had neither military or governmental experience.
Ooh, yes, yes. Yes, yes. And the one thing that really bothers me is that when so like I go into other lives. Not that I'm on the actual panels, but I do listen to other people's lives, and a lot of the time, um, it's idiots coming up being like, "Oh, Kamala was not at all," you know, it's like, listen, she's actually one of the most. Sorry, what's the word I'm looking for?
Qualified.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
She's
would say
actually
top three. I would say she's in the top three of most qualified candidates in American history. So
in history.
I don't mind that you go to other lives, but I have to ask you a question. You like my live the best, don't you?
You know I do.
Ah.
You're such a.
I'm
I'm gonna
such a
have to
hoe.
say it. Yeah. Okay.
No, for real. Like, listen, like, not even that, but like, it's they're not even. I'm actually not in these lives. I'm just listening to them,
Mhm.
and it just annoys me when people are like, "Oh, Kamala was in no way qualified."
No,
It makes me
that's just dumb people talking, you know. So it doesn't even matter
real.
what
It
they
makes me
say.
want to
But
actually jump out of my skin and grab their skulls and crush them.
yeah, Magaverse chatted that his cabinet turnover was unmatched. He had a turnover rate of
Oh,
nearly three times. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. And because you know he's dumb, so when and he lies all the time. So when he says I'm going to drain the swamp,
he
he didn't
can't.
finish the sentence and say, yeah, I'm going to refill it with raw sewage. You know, because that's what he
Mhm.
did. Because the people that he brought in were all just sycophants and thieves, and that's what
Yep.
he's done this time as well.
Yep.
And it's even worse than the first time because
This is way worse.
now he started off as a lame duck, and now he's probably not even going to allow another election to make him step down.
What was it?
If he,
Day three, he
wait, wait,
fired
wait,
Sally.
wait. I'm
Go ahead, Stephen.
Yeah. Uh, Day three, didn't he fire Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates, who is like one of the most eminently qualified prosecutors
Yeah, but he
in
doesn't want
DOJ
that.
history?
He doesn't need qualifications. What he needs is blind loyalty. That's his criteria for hiring someone. You know,
And
just
then she went on to become the
are they
general
going to
counsel for
swing from my
Walmart.
nads and do what I tell them to do?
wait. Yoda, I gotta leave.
Cash
So can I
Patel's.
just? I'm sorry. Gotta leave. So can I
Certainly.
just be like, I'm gonna
Go
say
ahead.
goodbye to everybody.
Absolutely.
I love you guys. Thank you so much. Um, the thing that bothers me is that like Donald Trump has always been an oaf and a fucking idiot and a huge fucking disappointment. How the fuck did he become president? Like at that point, you got to look at it where like maybe maybe the electorate, there's something wrong there. But anyways, I do have to say I love you.
That is very sweet.
You
Thank
know,
you.
I love you. But my god, Donald Trump is like smelliest, grossest fucking man ever. And he is now the president. What the fuck, man? Hi, Steven. I don't know you, but nice to meet you.
So, all right. So, you know what I'd like to do?
What a pleasure. Thank you.
I do have to go
Since you
though.
have to
Can
go,
you
Jeannie,
drop me
thank you.
down?
Have a great night. I would
Thanks,
like to
Gina.
go from bottom to top right now and get your thoughts, starting with Danny. I'd like you to give me
But you were
your
calling me a bot.
theory for your theory of how we got President Donnie Dump. Danny, you still with us?
Who's got the thirsty dog?
No, his
Oh,
mic
sorry.
is still muted.
It
There it
always
is.
helps when you unmute your mic. I know. I'm,
Right.
you know, you think I know that by now? As long as it made lies, I do it my own. It started all back in 2015. Hillary Clinton should have won that election, in my opinion. However, there was the Bernie debacle, which again, Bernie had every opportunity to run as a third party candidate because he is a third party person. He's an independent, you know. So why he ran as a Democrat was because he needed the support of the Democrat Party. and he needed their money basically too. So otherwise, Bernie's an independent. He only caucuses with them because he can't stand the Republicans. So, uh, but let's face it, Bernie is much older now than even Trump. He's older than Biden. So you guys got to might as well put Bernie out of your mind because Bernie will never be president. He had his shot in 2016, and it didn't work out for him. Uh, but how we got Donald Trump, that's where it all started. There was a lot of bickering between the Bernie bros and the Clinton bros, and she called them deplorables. She did a lot. There was a lot of mistakes made. So we ended up with Trump there. Then we saw how bad of a fucking mess we were in 2020 after the illness that we had in the country, to use TikTok language appropriately. Then they divided since we got Joe Biden, which rightfully so, because if we hadn't got Joe Biden, we'd have been a hell of a lot worse of a mess now than we have now. So, because you all remember what happened during that illness. We were really screwed. We were losing millions of people in this country. The economy was on its ass, and the recovery that we were bleeding tax dollars out. I mean, like there was no way of stopping it. So they had to do something, and they were smart enough. American people put Joe Biden in there. Then they pulled their head, they put their head right back up their ass, and they voted for this 34-time convicted felon. And I still don't understand that. And if anybody can explain that to me, please do, because it makes no frickin' sense. So here we are. We having the Democrats sat there and cried, sat on their hands like they did in 2016, and we're into the mess that we're in. So now we have a leader, finally, of the Democrats that's standing up. And all I can say is it's time to shit or get off the pot. Either support our leader right now, which is Newsom, whether you like him or not, I don't care. If you want to keep this country and keep this democracy, then you support him. If you don't, you better start storing up your beans and bullets because you're going to need them.
I'm with you, and everybody, please keep tapping. We are woefully behind pace. Normally by this time we're rounding 75,000 likes, but I know I haven't been reminding you, and that's on me. But all right, Magaverse, your thoughts.
I don't know how much time you have, but we can go back to his, I would say his Steve Bannon promoting him through Gamergate after the Gamergate situation, where online you had these basically a troll farm kind of directed by Steve Bannon to indoctrinate these younger gamers. A lot of it's still going on today. And then the since 2012, Putin's presence on Facebook has been I mean, it pushed him over the edge. Honestly, it pushed him over the top.
Yeah, let's call him Pooty because for some reason
Pooty.
TikTok doesn't
Oh
like
yeah.
us naming names.
Some reason. I wonder what reason that might be. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, with that kind of influence and the constant memes and the constant, you have a certain type of person that really resonates with hate, and apparently it. Well, we know who they are now. Anyway, that's helpful. But there are so many different avenues. It's a perfect shitstorm that created this whole Trump situation. I don't think it would ever happen again if you rolled out another 30 timelines. I don't think that we'd have the same outcome. This is nuts. This is literally nuts. all the different things that had to fall into place to get us here. So I don't want to go through all of them, but
I feel you. I
maybe
feel you.
somebody will
But no,
mention a few.
those are all great thoughts. Stacy, what do you think?
Well, I think for this time around, I believe the only reason he wanted the office is number one, to stay out of prison.
Hmm.
Sure that, but he also knows he can grift his way through the White House and make a ton of money, which according to the news lately, he's made $3 billion.
Yeah,
So I
he's
think there's that.
almost doubled his net worth.
Yeah. But unfortunately, I think that he backhandedly promoted racism and homophobia and misogyny, and that appealed to a lot of people. And it was brewing below the surface, and now he's making it almost normal, to the detriment of the country, obviously. But
You thought it was backhanded? I thought it was so obvious.
well, I think it was obvious, and I say backhanded in the way that he never acknowledges it, because there's enough people screaming out there about how racist and homophobic and everything else that's going on, and he doesn't address it, he doesn't acknowledge it. So, but yes, to your point, like the Madison Square Garden event, yeah, that was completely blatant, and there's been a number of other things. So fair point. A little bit of both, but yeah, he allowed racism and homophobic to be normalized, or potentially be, and that's a very scary thing.
Yep, I agree. I agree. All right, excellent. Jeannie, it looks like you wanted to chime in on. Well, we were answering your question, which was, how did we get Dump again? Did you have thoughts on that?
Sorry, what was the question?
It was your question, which is how we got Dump again. How do we get Dump as president?
Yes, exactly. No, you're
So
right.
do you have an answer to that, or would you like to hear an answer to that?
I do have an answer to that.
Go ahead.
Um, my answer to that is that unfortunately, there is quite a bit of society that uses okay. This is gonna get a little bit into it, but okay. Donald Trump became an idol for certain people who didn't necessarily know who they were, nor did they know what they wanted. And I'm gonna say it's mostly young men and even middle-aged to older men who got really tired of the fact that women were kind of getting, you know, getting above their britches. You know what I'm saying?
Not exactly.
Not exactly. Okay, so what I'm saying is that, okay,
I'm not sure what
women.
you mean by above their britches.
No, that was, it was kind of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Not above their britches, but that women were actually at their level. There are so many men that do not like the fact that women are actually human beings because they were taught their whole lives that women were not necessarily human beings. They were to be something that they could attain. And the thing is that women, us being women, that is absolutely not what we were taught. But okay, at this particular moment, I think I'm getting a little bit too deep. So basically, I think what it was that men did not like the fact that.
Oh, excuse me one second. Pat
Mhm.
Ray, you're saying get her off? Well, guess what, dickhead? You're gone now.
You
Go
don't have to
ahead.
do that. No,
No, I do.
it's okay. I'm just basically saying that, like,
So,
look, one thing that really bothers me is that I think the only reason that Kamala did not win, and
well,
also,
this is pre-Kamala. How did we get Dump as a president at all?
to be honest, I think the first time it was like, what's the word I'm looking for? It was like a novelty. But the second time, that's what I'm terrified about. The first time was a novelty. The second time was actually something that was planned. Not planned as in, like, but especially the fact that Kamala was the. Because the thing is, she did really well. She really did very well. And she actually,
All right,
like, election
we're
wise, she
shooting
did
past
so
the
well.
question again. The question was about Dump the first time. So I definitely got your
Ooh.
thoughts on that. I'm going to start dropping everybody down except Danny for final thoughts, but thank you as always for coming. Stacy, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Welcome back anytime. Magaverse, thank you for coming. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, bud.
Pleasure to meet you. Okay, so I'm going to give my thoughts on this question, and Danny's going to have the final thoughts for the evening. But I believe it started originally at a grassroots level because Dump was a prominent social figure since the 80s. I mean, his family was doing what they were doing in the 70s, but his father was the star of that show, right? And then rappers started rapping about him. People started putting him in films for cameos. I mean, there's literally hundreds of rap songs that reference Donnie Dump. Okay, so he had a certain celebrity about him, but he wasn't exactly a household name because most of the rappers that referenced him were New York rappers, right? So let's fast forward from the grassroots, regional to New York kind of fame that he had to 2004. That's the year where his goofy television show started. And this was when the countdown started for 2015 because Americans are celebrity worshipers. And he did what, they always, what he's always done, which is he used the show to promote himself, to paint a picture of himself for America that was absolutely not true, right? But that's the showman shit. That's his whole con. That's the glorified carnival barker bullshit. He's just always promoting himself, right? However, the people outside of New York didn't know that he was lying. New Yorkers knew he was completely full of shit, right? They knew about his infidelity. They knew about him as a shitty business owner, and an idiot, quite frankly, that made one failure after another, and the only thing that saved him was his family bailing him out. His family dipped into the trust in order to make him whole to the tune of $10 million. And I think this was around 91 or 93, something like that. Because he just had one failure after another. The guy fucked up casinos. He fucked up the best, or not best, but most famous hotel in New York City, the Plaza. That is the centerpiece hotel in New York City. And he fucked that up. He fucked up steaks. It's a long list. It's a long list. So we knew because of proximity, because of exposure to him as New Yorkers, what an absolute piece of garbage is, but the rest of the country didn't. The rest of the country saw him as this brilliant, billionaire who was a TV star, right? So even with all that, before 2015, he had not found the master key to unlock his opportunity to be president. What he figured out in 2015 is how useful hatred is. That's when he came down the escalator to announce that he wanted to be president. And like no other time before that he talked about being president, he zeroed in on Mexicans, Muslims, and terrorists, right? He talked about those three groups who are all associated with brown people. Of course, it's an unfair association because nobody was talking about building a wall after Timothy McVeigh did what he did, right? Nobody ever talks about when YT people do the heinous things that they do, when priests do the heinous things that they do. And they all belong to the dominant culture, but nobody talks about that. So he understood that this time around, in order to gain traction, the best thing to do would be to do what America loves doing more than anything ever in their history, and that is shit on black and brown people. That was the last step for him. So his celebrity, coupled with tapping into the not so dormant hatred that America has always exhibited toward black and brown people, that's what put him over. And of course, the DNC picking the wrong candidate. Bernie would have beat him hands down easily. So there were, like every other complex issue, it's multifaceted. There were many aspects of how this guy came to prominence, and how he came back was that as he was getting in office the first time, and every day since then, he's been stoking the flames of his cult. Because his cult, his followers are absolutely a cult. All anyone has to do is read 3 articles, any 3 articles you want, about the characteristics of a cult, and you will see very clearly that this is a cult, and his cult is the reason why 77 million people chose him. I have theories about other reasons why that number is what it is, but I can't talk about that on this platform. So, Danny, go. I've invited you to unmute your mic. Feel free to give the final thoughts for the evening.
Well, it's been an interesting night. Boy, you opened up Pandora's box when you came up with contempt. Everybody didn't know exactly what you meant, and when you started
I'm trying
explaining
to
it,
be smart about this, but before you go on to the rest of it, like, do my theories like make sense in terms of what created him and where we are now?
yeah, I would say that I'd have to agree with most of what you said. To be honest with you, uh, you know how I feel about how the whole thing started with the election and everything. So that I'm not going to go over old news that we already talked about. But nobody knows Trump better than you because you grew up there, you was around him. I'm not a New Yorker. And I'll be honest with you, I never watched The Apprentice because I couldn't stand the dude. I couldn't stand the show. I
Yeah.
thought it was stupid.
Yeah, I
But that's
watched
me.
like 3 or 4 episodes of the first season. And I was like, this is just some dumb shit. But he was
Uh,
on 15 fucking years.
you're better than me because you got. I didn't even get through the second episode, and that was it. I just thought it was stupid and just wasn't for me. But I think that you said it all. You pretty much summed up uh, about Donnie Dump and his following. They are a cult. People say to me that well, you're a little harsh. It's not really a cult, yada yada yada. Bullshit. They're a cult.
Yeah, look it
People
up.
tell them,
All you got to do is look it
hey,
up.
he could tell them like he was telling them during the health issue that we had, massive, that hey, go ahead and inject bleach in your veins and it'll clear it up. They would have done it. They were already thinking about it. Some people actually unallied
They
themselves by
did.
doing it.
Yeah. The next day, the New York City Department of Health changed their website. They changed their homepage to beg people not to follow the advice they had heard the night
Right.
before. And the hotlines all over the country for poison control were lit up like Christmas trees because a lot of people followed that buffoon's advice.
Absolutely. And both of those doctors, Fauci and the gal, I can't remember her name, but both of them looked at him like, "Are you for fucking real? What you just said to these people?" And to talk about, well, if that don't work, use that bio program. Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, you know what ballot lights used for most of the time? To sit there when the food inspector come into a restaurant, let you see if there's anything on the floor or especially in the bathroom with piss everywhere. That's what the ballot light, where they didn't clean properly. So that's what we were dealing with when you're talking to Donnie Dump. His whole his whole idea is hey, it's going to go away in 30 days. That was his first word that he said about that whole thing of that illness. It would go
And by
away
the
in
way,
30
that
days.
was after complete inaction for 70 entire days.
That's right. And the first case that broke out of that was right here in Washington State. You know, at that nursing home. That was the very first case. And they all and so oh, it'll go away. It's just as soon as the weather warms up, it's gone. It's going to be
You know,
like a
one of the
magic.
dumbest things that he said is because I remember all this vividly. At a certain point, there were 15 fatalities, and he said, "We've had 15 fatalities. Soon there will be none." Like, are you fucking
Yeah.
joking? No, they're going to stay fatalities, you dumb bastard.
Well, he also started telling them, do not report the numbers
Yeah,
because it's not looking good for me. Remember
right.
that?
Sure. Which is
So we
why, which
don't.
is why what he did with the labor statistics commissioner is completely on brand.
Oh yeah, and it's going to happen again. If we have another one, another p word, another one, he'll do it again. You know, there's no real proof that we only lost 1 million people. We could have lost more because he stopped it for a while there. How many wasn't counted for? So
Right.
I'm going over old thing, but you were spot on, and it was a great panel. Everybody was very passionate of what they wanted to talk about, and I think it was well worth. The subject was a good subject to get on to get things started, and you did an excellent job. The For those people that the friends like Traffic Man and Jeannie Alice and all you guys, I forwarded that video to you of Gravedigger did. So hope you get a chance to take a look. I hope you've already seen it by now. Ben, I did do that. So anyway,
Excellent. Yeah,
thanks
he
a
did.
lot.
He did a great job. So
He
everybody,
did.
please, if you're not following Danny, I have to question your mental state because Danny does one of the best lives out there. He just does. I've seen hundreds at this point, and Monday and Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. He's out there tackling the issues of the day, but always looking for positive solutions, which is something that we desperately need right now. And then on Fridays, tomorrow's Friday, and it's like, I can't tell you how long it's been since I looked forward to Fridays. Because, like, the way my life has gone for the last couple decades, Friday never meant anything to me because I'd be working Saturday and Sunday anyway. And now, it means even less to me. But the one thing that I am excited about every fucking Friday is Trivial Pursuit with Danny. So, folks, be smart, tap his profile photo, and follow him and join us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And Danny, tell them about the first Sunday, first and third Sunday of the month. What else you have in store?
First and third Sunday of the month. I started this month, and obviously we're past the third Sunday, but next month on the first and third Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific time is Vet Talk. That's veterans helping veterans. It's not a veteran page that you just come and tell war stories or shoot the stuff about what you did in the barracks and any of that stuff. It is about helping veterans. There, a lot of veterans get out of the military and they don't have a transitional period, a transition time, even classes before they get out, what to expect and where to get help, to go to the VA, take your records, all that stuff. So this is all about helping veterans transition. Excuse me, taking veterans through the process of when they get out of the military. I retired in 1991, and I can assure you, I had no transition briefing or any type of orientation before I got out to retire from the Army. I'm sure that there's many veterans that didn't get anything when they got out. So it's just in a way where veterans can get together, talk about their issues they're having since they've been out. It's purely advice, but we also have some people that come up that actually knows what they're talking about Pacific, like the VA, how to get your rating, see what benefits you're available for. 'Cause a lot of them get out and don't even know they got benefits coming.
Right.
So if you're a veteran or know a veteran, or you're even if you're a wife of a veteran, come to Vet Talk. We'll be glad to talk to you, answer our questions, and we're going to be there the first and third Sunday of the month at 3 p.m. Pacific time. That's Vet Talk. Please, please get the word out.
Yeah.
We're going to do a couple of videos also here in the near future that I think will help bring them in, but I just wanted to pass that on. Thank
Absolutely.
you for
And
letting
and for
me.
those of you who have joined Vet Talk in the past, just make note that the time has changed. It's not 12 Pacific anymore. It's 3 Pacific like the rest of Danny's shows. So keep that in mind. And as always, Danny, thank you so much for being here. Your words of wisdom are always welcome.
Thanks a lot, Yoda, and you have a great rest of your evening, and I'm sure I'll talk to you probably when we get off of here.
Yeah,
Uh,
as always. All
talk to you
right.
later.
Talk to you soon. All right, folks. I want to close out by picking up on something Danny was talking about because over the weekend with Danny, something occurred to me that got me upset. And, you know, when I think about the fact that America propagandizes children so that they'll grow up and join the military and then uses those young men and women to make wealthy people wealthier, to take resources from another country for land and greed and all that shit, and basically cast them out when they're done. There is no greater indicator of how callous the American government is than the fact that they do not put as much effort into transitioning soldiers out as they do getting them in. You know, think about, like, I've known plenty of soldiers. My uncle was 22 years in the military. My best friend served in Korea during the cease. And the arduous and very planned, well thought out process for turning a civilian into a soldier is not accidental at all. This is hundreds of years of knowledge and psychological information and all this shit. How do we take this person and make them as robotic as possible so that they won't hesitate when the time comes to harm another human being? That's the whole goal of the training, right? And it's unfortunate, but that's the reality of training a soldier. Yet, when they're done with you, it's not even a thank you. It's here are your papers, goodbye. That's it. No, how do we deprogram these people? How do we reintegrate them into society? How do we reward them for the sacrifice they made? Because these people have to be away from their families. They put themselves in harm's way. And sometimes they see things so indescribably horrible that they will go to their final resting place without ever uttering a word about it. And for the ones that do talk about it, you can see the pain and the anguish. Remember Band of Brothers? Before every episode, they had an interview with one of the survivors of World War II. And at that point, we had been about 60 years away from that war. And these were grown men telling stories of the horrors that they saw, weeping, in some cases uncontrollably, because they were scarred that badly 60 years earlier. And we have absolutely no regard for them. We don't say, okay, thank you for a job well done. Thank you for the sacrifice you made. Thank you for putting yourselves in harm's way so that giant corporations could make more fucking money. And we're gonna make sure that you have a job. We're gonna make sure, like, frankly, I think none of them should ever pay taxes again. And at a certain rank, or a certain number of years, give them a free fucking house. That's what I honestly believe needs to happen with veterans. And I don't care who thinks that's a bad idea. We have the resources to do that. What we don't have is the willingness to be kind and compassionate. That's the failing of America, is that it's built on cruelty. And these people deserve better. Danny deserved better than what he got. Plain and simple. And the millions of people, because at the end of the day, it's a tiny percentage of the population of America that's ever in the armed forces. We, as a country, need to take care of these people. So please join Danny in helping veterans first Sunday and third Sunday of every month. Vet Talk, 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. All right. And if you want to support my other channel, by the way, for the regulars here that have followed me at Coach Yoddah, I sincerely appreciate it. It means the world to me. I've created my intro video and more content is coming. For those of you who don't know, I have a second channel because I finally, after 38 years of doing this, I want to start basically communicating about my coaching. So it's coach.yoddah. Coach period, Yoddah, Yoddah. And again, it's because film studios are litigious. So with that, folks, I can't thank you enough for hanging out with us for over 2 hours, for making all the comments, for tapping the screen, for the shares, for the gifts. All of it is amazing. To my amazing panel, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how my panel comes up here night after night. We have regulars and we kind of, jockey around different people. We have new people coming in, but no matter who steps into that box, that's not some MAGA hat idiot. We have phenomenal people giving great feedback. And most of all, My older brother from another mother, easy for me to say, my older brother from another mother, Danny. So, as always, peace, love, and granola. Talk to you all soon.